Have you ever wondered what it truly takes to build a lasting, fulfilling relationship, whether you're navigating love, dealing with betrayal, or simply trying to understand the complexities of life? This video will reveal timeless wisdom that can change the way you approach relationships forever. In today's world, it's easy to lose sight of what matters: trust, respect, and the subtle art of communication. That's why you need to watch this video until the end. We're diving deep into the secrets that men and women have used to create enduring bonds and find peace, even in the toughest of times. By the end of this video, you'll discover why love, much like cooking, requires patience, care, and the right ingredients to keep the fire burning. Whether you're looking to understand the power of forgiveness, how to cultivate emotional intimacy, or the true meaning of trust, the insights shared here are invaluable. So, if you want to unlock the wisdom of long-lasting relationships and learn how to maintain love and harmony throughout life's challenges, keep watching. These lessons aren't just for today. They'll stay with you for a lifetime. Stick around and prepare to see relationships in a whole new light. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me. And if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. My dearest friend, come sit here beside me. Let me draw you into the warmth of my company and share with you the stories, the wisdom, and the tender lessons life has taught me. The years have been kind and at times cruel, yet they have shaped me, softened my rough edges, and filled me with a deep understanding of life, love, and the intricacies of the human heart. As I sit here, with time behind me like a vast, winding river, I find myself wanting nothing more than to pass on these precious pearls of wisdom to you, so that you too may navigate the journey ahead with clarity, strength, and a heart full of love. You see, life is not as simple as the passing of days. It is a tapestry woven with threads of joy and sorrow, laughter and tears. It is here in my beloved Italy, amidst the rolling hills and sun-kissed valleys, that I have learned what it truly means to live. The ancient vineyards and olive groves have whispered their secrets to me, and the centuries-old towns have shown me the beauty of endurance, of resilience, of facing the winds of time with grace. And now, in these golden years, as the evening sun gently sets on the horizon of my life, I find myself overflowing with stories, with memories that hold lessons I cannot keep to myself. I must share them with you, my dear, because life is meant to be passed on, to be shared like a fire that lights the path for others. First, let me speak of women. Women. How can I even begin to describe the profound respect, the deep admiration that has grown in my heart over the years? Women are like the vineyards that stretch across the Tuscan hills, beautiful, yes, but not in a fleeting or fragile way. Their beauty is the kind that endures, the kind that deepens with time, like a fine wine that grows richer, more complex with each passing year. But more than their beauty, it is their strength, their resilience that has left me in awe. Just as the vines cling to the earth, surviving the scorching heat of summer and the bitter cold of winter, so too do women stand tall through life's trials. They are the nurturers, the caretakers, the ones who carry the weight of the world on their shoulders with grace and dignity. To love a woman is not merely to admire her outward beauty, but to honor the strength of her spirit, the depth of her wisdom, and the richness of her inner world. Every woman, my dear friend, is a universe unto herself, a mystery waiting to be explored. She carries within her the stories of generations, the hopes of tomorrow, and the strength to overcome whatever life may throw her way. To truly love a woman is to embark on a journey of discovery, explore the vast landscapes of her soul, and cherish the moments of vulnerability she shares with you. Treat her with respect, with kindness, and with the admiration she deserves, for she is a treasure beyond measure. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment one below to let me know that you are still here with me. And now, let me speak of men, particularly to you, the younger ones who are still finding your way in the world. How often I have seen men fall into the trap of believing that their worth lies in their physical strength, in the power of their arms, or in the force of their will. But I tell you this, true strength, the kind that endures, the kind that makes a man truly noble, lies not in his muscles but in his heart. It is the kindness he shows to others, the wisdom he carries in his decisions, and the love he offers without expectation that define his character. A man's worth is not measured by the battles he fights, but by the peace he creates in the lives of those around him. Remember this, my friend. There is a time to speak. Yes, but there is also a time to be silent, to listen, to let the voices of others fill the space around you. The greatest gift a man can give is not his strength, but his presence, his ability to be there for those who need him, to offer a shoulder to lean on, a heart that understands, and a hand that lifts others. In the end, it is not the power of your arms that will be remembered, but the gentleness of your soul, the wisdom of your actions, and the love you have given freely. Now, let us turn to life itself. Life, my dear friend, is not a straight road. It is not a path that leads directly from one point to another. No! Life is a grand banquet, a feast laid out before you, filled with dishes of every kind, some sweet, some bitter, some that you may not understand or even like at first taste. But every dish, every flavor, has its purpose. Life invites you to taste, to savor, and to experience all that it has to offer. Do not shy away from the unknown. Do not let fear keep you from trying new things. For it is in the unfamiliar, in the unexpected, that you will often find the greatest joys, the most profound lessons. But even as you explore the new, do not forget the old. Do not forget the traditions, the roots that have shaped you, that have made you who you are. These are your anchors, your guiding stars in a world that is constantly changing. Hold on to them, but do not let them hold you back. Life is a balance, a dance between the old and the new, between tradition and adventure. And above all, remember this: life is sweeter when shared. No feast, no matter how grand, is as fulfilling when experienced alone. The laughter, the stories, the companionship of those you love, that is the true essence of life. It is not the wealth you accumulate, nor the accolades you achieve, but the memories you create with others, the love you give and receive, that will fill your heart and soul. My dear friend, as we sit here, I hope these words resonate with you. Life will challenge you. It will test you in ways you cannot yet imagine. There will be moments of despair, of heartbreak, of feeling lost in the darkness. But remember this: every valley has its peak, and every storm is calm. Even in the darkest moments, there is always light to be found, if only you keep your heart open to it. Love, kindness, and compassion, these are the lights that will guide you through the hardest of times. And when you give these to others, they will reflect them to you 100-fold. So, take these words, my friend, and carry them with you as you walk through life. Cherish them, for they are the distillation of a lifetime of experience, of a heart that has known both joy and sorrow, both love and loss. These are the pearls of wisdom that have sustained me, and now I pass them on to you. May they bring you peace, strength, and the courage to live fully, to love deeply, and to embrace all that life has to offer. Finally, my dear, let us talk about relationships and betrayal, those twin forces that shape the deepest corners of our hearts. Relationships are the very fabric that weaves together the rich tapestry of life. They are the connections that give meaning to our days, the bonds that hold us steady in times of joy and sorrow alike. But just as with any fabric, no matter how strong it may seem, relationships are fragile, delicate things. They must be handled with care, with reverence, for it is trust that serves as the strongest thread holding that fabric together. Trust is not something you can buy or force into existence. It is earned day by day in the small moments of honesty and loyalty that you give and receive. And once that thread is broken, my friend, it is nearly impossible to repair. You may try to stitch it back together, but the tear will always be there, a reminder of what was once whole. Betrayal, on the other hand, is a stain so deep, so corrosive, that it can seep into the very soul of a relationship. It leaves a mark that no amount of time or forgiveness can fully erase. The pain of betrayal is not just in the act itself, but in the aftermath, the questioning, the doubt, the erosion of the very foundation upon which love was built. Betrayal is a poison, a slow and steady drip that eats away at the heart until there is nothing left but bitterness and scars. And these scars, no matter how much time passes, sometimes refuse to heal. They linger, reminding you of the wounds that were inflicted. That is why, my dear friend, I urge you to guard your relationships with the utmost care. Cultivate honesty and loyalty as you would a delicate flower. For once trust is broken, it may never truly be restored. Now, listen closely, for what I am about to share is the wisdom of many winters and summers, of laughter and tears, of love gained and love lost. Keep these words with you, let them settle deep in your heart, and walk through life with them as your guide. Women, my dear, are like books. Each one is different. Each one has a story waiting to be discovered. Some are filled with adventure, others with mystery, but all are rich with meaning. And men are like bookmarks. Some will help you keep your place, guiding you along your journey. Others, however, are simply there for no reason, marking time without adding much value. Choose carefully who you allow to hold your place in life. Living well, my friend, is like making a good soup. It requires patience, attention, and the wisdom to know when to turn down the heat. Too much fire and everything burns. Too little and nothing ever truly comes to life. Love, too, must simmer gently, slowly, allowing the flavors to meld over time. And here's a lesson you must take to heart. It is far better to be alone than in bad company. Loneliness, while painful at times, is still a kinder companion than the wrong person. But, oh, how sweet life becomes when you are well accompanied, when the presence of another brings warmth and comfort. There is a joy in sharing moments with someone who understands you, someone with whom you can sit in silence, even with a TV playing softly in the background, and feel completely at ease. Women, you see, expect from men what they expect from a good pair of shoes. That they are beautiful, reliable, and comfortable. That they don't pinch or cause pain, but instead support them as they walk through life. And a good marriage, my friend, is much like an old car. It needs maintenance. It may make strange noises from time to time, but if you take care of it, it will take you wherever your heart desires. The journey may not always be smooth, but with love and care, you will reach your destination together. Life, my dear, is far too short to hold on to grudges, to let anger fester like an open wound. But it is just long enough to remember who is worth your time and who is not. People will come and go. Some will bring joy, and others will bring heartache. But in the end, it is up to you to decide who stays in your heart and who is left behind. If love is like cooking, then many of us are still learning how to not burn the rice, still figuring out how to balance the ingredients of trust, compassion, and patience. But true love, the kind that endures, is when you hear your partner snore beside you at night, and you realize that you would rather listen to their snoring for a lifetime than face the silence of sleeping alone. And let me tell you, my dear, one of the greatest gifts of aging is the perspective it brings. When you have lived through enough storms, heartbreaks, and triumphs, you come to realize that the little things, those daily frustrations and worries, no longer shake you. You know that after every storm, there is always a rainbow, and after every hardship, there is always a steaming cup of coffee waiting to warm your hands and your heart. Aging is not something to fear. It is something to embrace, for it brings with it the knowledge that life is a cycle of beginnings and endings, of challenges and rewards. And with each passing year, you learn to treasure the quiet moments, the shared laughter, the gentle touch of a loved one's hand. So, my friend, hold these lessons close. In relationships, in love, in life, remember to nurture trust, to cherish those who are worthy, and to let go of those who bring you pain. Life is too short to carry the weight of betrayal, but it is long enough to savor the beauty of a love that grows, endures, and lights the way through all the seasons of your life. There is no instruction manual for life, my dear, but one thing I've learned is that a good sense of humor will carry you through the hardest of times. Humor, like a well-worn coat, can protect you when the storms of life come rolling in. After all, the difference between getting married and going crazy is simple. Marriage just lasts longer, and if love is supposed to be the answer to life's questions, then maybe, just maybe, we need to rephrase the question. You see, love is rarely as straightforward as we wish it were. It's like breakfast. It's better when it's not always the same. Routine can be comforting, but it can also stifle the spark that keeps things exciting. In truth, love is like cooking. Anyone can start. Anyone can throw some ingredients together and call it a meal. But to keep the fire burning, that takes skill, patience, and a deep understanding of what truly makes the dish worth savoring. Love is when someone knows all your secrets, every flaw, and every mistake, and still chooses to love you with an open heart. They see you in all your vulnerability, and instead of walking away, they choose to stay. And then there's sex. Sex is like the electricity bill. If you don't pay attention, if you take it for granted, it can end up costing more than you think. In love and intimacy, mindfulness is key, because it's the small things that often make the biggest difference. A good marriage, my friend, is like a well-conducted symphony. Both partners must know their instruments well, not just the notes, but the nuances, the crescendos, the softening of tones, the pauses that make the music beautiful. If love is a game, then marriage is a championship. It's the place where all the lessons and all the effort come together to create something truly magnificent. But relationships, much like driving an old car, need constant care. If you don't take care of it, if you neglect the oil changes, the tire rotations, one day you'll find yourself stranded in the middle of the road, wondering where it all went wrong. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. And let's not forget temptation. Love is like dieting, isn't it? There's always someone trying to offer you something more delicious, more tempting. But true love, true commitment, is resisting the easy indulgence and staying focused on what nourishes your soul. Sex, too, can feel like mathematics at times. It adds pleasure, subtracts clothes, divides legs, and multiplies moans. But the real math is in the equation of love, where two become one in a way that is far more profound than simple arithmetic. Marriage, though, it's like going to the cinema. You choose the movie and you settle in, but you never really know if you're going to enjoy it all the way through, or if you'll fall asleep halfway. It's unpredictable, full of twists and turns, but that's what makes it worthwhile. A man in a relationship is like Bluetooth. When you're close, he connects. But when you're far away, he starts looking for other devices to pair with. And women are like Wi-Fi. They scan all the available networks, but they'll only connect with the strongest, most reliable one. It's a dance of connection, of finding and maintaining the signal that keeps you both plugged into each other's lives. Dating, in its early stages, is like writing poetry. It's full of passion, creativity, and those sweeping gestures that make your heart race. But getting married, that's when you bring out the grammar check. It's about refining, about making sure the structure holds up, about ensuring that the beauty you found at the beginning can withstand the test of time. The key to a good relationship, much like good wine, is knowing when to open and when to let things age. Some moments are meant to be savored immediately, while others need time to mature, to develop complexity and depth. Love, they say, is blind, but marriage restores sight. It's in the day-to-day realities of life together that you truly see each other. Not the idealized version from the early days of romance, but the real, unfiltered person standing beside you. And that, my friend, is the magic of love. Choosing to see and choosing to stay. Love is, in its simplest form, sharing a pizza. It's looking at the last slice, knowing full well that you want it, but offering it to the other person because their happiness means just a little bit more than your own. That's love. It's in the small gestures, the everyday kindnesses, the sacrifices that go unnoticed but mean the world. It's not always grand or poetic, but it's real. And in the end, it's what makes life worth living. A long relationship, my friend, isn't measured by the number of years that pass or the anniversary celebrated, but by how many seasons of life, and yes, even seasons of your favorite TV series, you can navigate without fighting over the remote control. It's about finding harmony in the little moments, the small battles that could easily become big, but don't, because you've learned how to compromise, how to laugh together instead of bicker. And then there's sex after 50. Well, that's a different game altogether. It's like trying to play soccer on a muddy field. The ball still finds its way into the net, but you get a lot dirtier in the process. It's messy, slower, maybe a bit clumsier, but just as satisfying when you remember to embrace the fun of it all. In love, honesty is essential. Yes, but don't forget the importance of being interesting. After all, you can be honest without being engaging, and love needs a spark, a sense of intrigue, to keep the fire alive. Think of it like software. It needs constant updates to stay fresh and relevant. Without those upgrades, without new energy, love can feel as stagnant as outdated technology. And as for sex, well, it's much the same. Frequent updates, whether that's in the form of trying new things, reigniting old passions, or simply paying attention to each other, are the key to maintaining interest. The difference between love and a virus is simple. While viruses may come and go, and we can develop vaccines to fend them off, love has no such cure. Once it's in your system, there's no immunity. It consumes you, for better or worse, and you learn to live with the highs and lows, the moments of bliss and the challenges. Marrying for money, now that's a trap as old as time. It's like buying a mobile phone just because it's expensive. It may look flashy, but what good is it if you can't even get a signal in your own home? True love, a real connection, isn't something you can purchase, no matter how much wealth is involved. It's about finding someone whose signal matches yours, someone who connects with you on the frequencies that truly matter. Men, my friend, are like wine. Some, sadly, turn to vinegar over the years, becoming sour and bitter with time. But the best, they improve with age, growing richer, more complex, with depth and character that only time can bring out. A good man, like fine wine, needs patience and understanding to appreciate fully. Women, on the other hand, are like art. Their value lies not in being understood by everyone, but in their mystery, their layers, the depth that only a few can truly appreciate. Sometimes, the less someone understands a woman, the more they undervalue her, not realizing that her worth lies precisely in the complexity of her being. Marriage is, in many ways, the triumph of imagination over intelligence. It's the ultimate leap of faith, believing in something beautiful despite the reality of what it might entail. And if you venture into a second marriage, well, that's the triumph of hope over experience, isn't it? It's knowing exactly how hard it can be, how much work is required, and yet still daring to try again, believing in the possibility of a new beginning. Sex without humor, my dear, is like food without salt. It may sustain you, but it won't bring you any joy. Laughter, the ability to smile and embrace the ridiculousness of it all, is what makes intimacy truly pleasurable. Marriage, too, is much like poker. You start with two hearts and a diamond, love, excitement, that spark of something precious. But if you're not careful, if you don't play your hand right, you may find yourself wishing for a club and a spade to dig your way out of trouble. Love, at its core, is a simple four-letter word made up of two vowels, two consonants, and let's be honest, two idiots who think they can navigate the chaos of life together. But isn't that the beauty of it? Love, like a good perfume, lingers long after the person has left. It stays with you, sometimes haunting you, comforting you, but always there in the background of your memories. And sex? Sex is like pizza. When it's good, it's very good, unforgettable, delicious, the kind that leaves you craving more. But even when it's bad, it's still pretty good. because the experience itself is something to savor. It's not always perfect, but it's always worth the effort. If love is the answer, then make sure you've understood the question. Because sometimes we think love will solve everything, but in reality, it's how we approach love that determines the outcome. Relationships are like a game of chess. One wrong move, one moment of carelessness, and you could lose your queen, the person who holds your heart. Every move counts. Every decision matters, and sometimes it's not about winning, but about learning how to play the game with grace. Love, much like a garden, requires constant tending. If you don't water it, if you don't pull out the weeds of neglect and complacency, the garden will be overrun. And sex, well, sex is like the phone. Just because it rings doesn't mean you always have the answer. Sometimes it's about knowing when to pick it up and when to let it ring through, waiting for the right moment, the right connection, to make the experience truly worthwhile. In the end, love, sex, and marriage are all parts of the same journey. They are filled with humor, challenges, and unexpected twists. But if you navigate them with an open heart, a sense of humor, and a willingness to adapt, they can bring you the deepest joys life has to offer. Marriage, my dear, is much like a deck of cards. You start with 2 hearts and a diamond, full of excitement and promise, only to later find yourself wishing for a club and a spade to get through the inevitable challenges. It's not a fairy tale where everything remains perfect. Rather, it's an unpredictable game, filled with strategy, risks, and the occasional need to reshuffle the deck. And when it comes to sex and marriage, well, it's a bit like having an old car. The model itself becomes less important over time. What truly matters is that it still runs, that it still gets you where you need to go, and that it keeps you moving forward together. Love, in its essence, is much like weaving. The threads of 2 lives come together, intertwining to form something new, something beautiful. But if handled carelessly, those threads can also create a tangled mess, a disaster that's difficult to unravel. True love is found in those who can look at the imperfections in one another and see not flaws, but unique characteristics that make the other person all the more beautiful. These imperfections are the threads that add color and depth to the fabric of your relationship, and learning to embrace them is where love truly takes root. At the core of any healthy, lasting relationship is trust. Without trust, everything else becomes shaky, like building a house on an unstable foundation. You can have all the love and passion in the world, but without trust, it's all built on sand. Trust is the glue that holds things together, and without it, even the strongest love will begin to crumble. Sharing your life with someone is a daily lesson in the art of giving. It's understanding that love isn't just about what you receive, but about what you offer, how you nurture and care for the person beside you. Every day is an opportunity to give more of yourself, and to be generous with your time, your attention, and your heart. Communication, my friend, is the oxygen that keeps relationships alive. Without it, love suffocates. Words, gestures, and the willingness to listen create the space for love to breathe and grow. When communication dies, the connection fades, and love struggles to survive. Respect is the pillar that supports any long-lasting relationship. Without respect, love becomes hollow, empty of the recognition and appreciation that every person needs. And forgiveness? Forgiveness is not just an act of love. It's a requirement for those who hope to grow together through life's ups and downs. We are human, flawed, and imperfect, and we will make mistakes. But it's through forgiveness that we show the depth of our commitment to one another. Forgiveness allows love to endure past the hurts, past the pain, and into a place of healing. Emotional intimacy and vulnerability are the true signs of a strong, unbreakable bond. It's not just about sharing the good times, but about being open and honest during the tough ones, too. When you can be vulnerable with someone, when you can show them your deepest fears, insecurities, and hopes, that's where the real connection is forged. True love is not just about smiling through the easy times. It's about holding each other tightly during the difficult moments, knowing that those hardships are part of growing and evolving together. Commitment, my dear, isn't just about staying together when things are easy. It's about choosing to walk side by side, even when life tempts you to turn in opposite directions. It's that quiet, steady choice to stay, to keep building, even when the road gets rocky. Patience is more than just a virtue in relationships. It's a necessity. It's the patience to understand, to wait for the other person to grow, and to give them the space to be imperfect. Without patience, love turns brittle, easily shattered by life's inevitable frustrations. Mutual respect is the fertile ground where love can take root, grow, and flourish. Without respect, love has no place to thrive. And conflicts, they will come. They are as natural in a relationship as the seasons changing. However, when handled with care and understanding, conflicts can strengthen the bond between two people. They are opportunities to learn more about each other, to deepen understanding, and to build resilience together. Love is not just a fleeting emotion. It's a continuous commitment, a choice that you make every single day. It's waking up each morning and deciding that you will love this person, that you will care for them, support them, and grow with them, no matter what life throws your way. Relationships are like books. Some chapters are filled with happiness and light, others with hardship and pain. But every single chapter is essential. It's the combination of all those moments, both good and bad, that creates a story worth telling, a life worth living, and a love worth fighting for. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Trust is not something given freely, but rather something earned slowly with consistency, time, and deliberate actions. It is the bedrock, the foundation upon which any lasting relationship must stand. Without it, even the grandest expressions of love cannot hold. The trust provides stability, the assurance that the promises made in the light will not be abandoned in the dark. It takes time, effort, and, above all, reliability. And when trust is present, it allows us to let down our guard, to be vulnerable. Because vulnerability is not a weakness, but the greatest act of courage we can offer in love. It is the risk we take when we decide not just to exist, but to truly coexist with another being. In a true partnership, life is not merely shared, but so are dreams, fears, and hopes. It's not enough to simply walk through life side by side. A real relationship involves diving into the depths of each other's hearts, holding space for both joy and sorrow, celebrating victories, and supporting each other through failures. It is a continuous exchange of giving and receiving, a dance in which both partners feel valued, heard, and important. When love is true, the happiness of the other person becomes essential to your own. You find that their joy brings you as much fulfillment as your successes, and their pain cuts just as deeply as your wounds. Forgiveness is an essential part of any relationship, but it's important to understand that forgiving does not mean forgetting. It means making a conscious choice to choose peace and love over resentment, to let go of the poison that could corrode the bond between two people. It's about releasing the past so that both partners can move forward, but it doesn't erase the lessons learned. True forgiveness is a gift, one that says, I value this relationship more than I value holding on to hurt. Commitment, far from being a form of imprisonment, is liberating. It offers the security and the freedom to be your truest self, knowing that the person beside you is there to stay through thick and thin. A committed relationship provides the stability in which you can grow as individuals and as a couple. It's the platform from which you can explore the world and take risks, knowing that at the end of the day, you will always have someone to come home to. A good relationship, one that lasts and thrives, is built with equal measures of love, patience, respect, and, most importantly, a touch of humor. Life will throw challenges your way, but humor can be the balm that heals the small wounds and eases the tension that naturally arises. True love, at its core, is a blend of deep friendship, passionate connection, and unwavering respect. These 3 elements are what hold a couple together when the initial rush of infatuation fades and the realities of life set in. Maturity in a relationship is not about always being right. It comes from the understanding that sometimes being kind and understanding is more important than winning an argument. It's about knowing when to let go, when to compromise, and when to stand firm. Mutual understanding is the bridge that keeps two people connected, even when life's storms try to tear them apart. It's that sense of empathy, that ability to see the world through your partner's eyes, that will keep you bonded through the highs and the lows. Love is, in many ways, a journey of self-discovery through another person. It is in the act of loving and being loved that we learn who we truly are. And in a relationship, consistency is just as crucial as those grand romantic gestures. Grand gestures are lovely, but it's the daily acts of love, the small, consistent efforts that build a relationship that can stand the test of time. Intimacy is not born out of fleeting moments of closeness. It is a result of two souls who, after seeing each other in their most vulnerable, raw, and imperfect states, still choose to stay together. It's not the absence of challenges, but the choice to weather those challenges together, time and time again. Long-lasting relationships are not simply built on promises of a future. They are forged in the daily acts of commitment, the quiet reassurances, and the constant choosing of each other. Trust, once broken, is one of the hardest things to repair. It is fragile, and though it can be mended, it will never be the same. That is why it must be guarded with the utmost care and treated like the most precious of treasures, because without it, love becomes unsteady and unsure. In love, as in life, trust is everything. Protect it, nurture it, and your relationship will thrive. As we come to the end of this journey through the essential lessons of love, trust, commitment, and the beauty of relationships, I hope you found something that resonates deeply with you. Life and love are both intricate, ever-evolving paths, and each of us is constantly learning how to navigate them. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What have you learned so far? What's one thing that stood out to you? Something that you will take with you and bring into practice in your own life? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. If you like this video, please leave your comment below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss another update. Thank you for being part of this journey, and we look forward to hearing how these insights have touched your life.